So before I get into the review, I just want to give a little context about how I came across this masterpiece of a game called Hades. In August of 2025, I jumped into Hollow Knight for the first time as I wanted to play it before the release of Silksong. When I finished up with Silksong, Hades 2 had just released, but again, I wanted to play the original first. So I bought it on Steam, and I knew next to nothing about this game. I had heard it was a really good roguelike, and that was about it. I mean, technically it's a roguelite, but the point is, my experience with roguelikes is next to nothing, so I wasn't even fully sure what this genre was. Again, all I had heard is that it was one of the best roguelikes out there. Now, one thing you should know about me is I adore Greek mythology. I'm not a huge expert on the subject matter or anything, but anything I hear or learn about in that genre is super cool to me. I played the God of War games as a kid, and to this day, it's one of my favorite gaming franchises. I just love learning about Greek mythology. So, if nothing else, at least this game had that going for it. I knew I'd be interested in the theme of the game. I was just unsure about the gameplay. And another thing you should know about me is that for me, when it comes to gaming, gameplay is king. That's the reason I play video games. Well, 2 months and 145 gameplay hours later, I can say that Hades may be my favorite game I have played in 2025, at least from a gameplay perspective. That is almost as much time as I put into Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong combined, and I fully beat both of those games without guides. I did my playthroughs blind. I cannot stress to you how much I love the gameplay loop in Hades. I honestly cannot remember the last time I was this hooked by a game's gameplay. It has that just one more run energy on steroids. Seriously. Because there's no manual save in this game, I would just exhaust all the dialogue, but then it wouldn't save for a bit. It would save a couple minutes from before I did all that, and because I'm sort of OCD, I would have to start my next run to get it to save when I wanted, because then when I save quit, it started me right where I left off. Well, when I would jump into a new run, I'd be like, let me just see what the first upgrade is. Then I would get a Chaos Gate. Okay, I'll do one more room. Then I would do the same thing in the next room and the next, and next thing you know, I had cleared all the jail cells of Tartarus and I was on to the next region, the fiery depths of Asphodel. All I had meant to do was just get to a point where I could save and get off the game, and next thing you know, I'm a quarter way through another run. But if what I just said doesn't make much sense to you, let me give you some context on what the hell you do in this game. There are lore and story reasons for what you're doing, but essentially you are Zagreus, the son of Hades, and you're trying to escape the inescapable underworld and reach the surface. You start from the House of Hades and battle your way through Tartarus, which is a maze-like grim prison of souls. You then face the first region boss, Megara, but as you progress the game, you may face a different one of her Fury sisters, or face them all at once. More on that later. You then ascend to Asphodel, a fiery hellscape where you battle through rooms to eventually fight Lernie, the Hydra. You then ascend to Elysium, a lush garden-type environment filled with even tougher enemies, and you will challenge Asteria and Theseus at the end of that region. And finally, you advance to the River Styx, where you must fight through jail cells filled with deadly enemies to receive a satyr sack to feed to Cerberus, the three-headed hound of hell who is standing watch at the gates to the Earth's surface. When you give him the treat, he moves, and you get to face off against Hades, the god of the underworld. Fail, and you're sent back home to try it all over again. Succeed, and you reach the Earth's surface, but cruelly, your genetics do not allow you to survive on the surface for very long, and you'll be sent right back home again, where you repeat the process over and over and over. For me, I did over 200 attempts, and I was successful over 120 times. The coolest part about this game is the replayability. Even after hundreds of attempts, the game still felt fun to run each and every time, because every run is different. If you're unfamiliar with roguelikes or roguelites, basically, you get upgrades as you progress, and by the end, you can have some extremely broken builds. The really awesome part in this one is the upgrades you get are boons granted to you by the gods of Olympus. Aphrodite makes enemies weak, Poseidon allows you to harness the power of the seas and have crushing knockback effects with wave slamming animations. Zeus inflicts lightning bolts onto the enemies, Ares inflicts doom, Dionysus, the god of wine, makes enemies hungover, a damage over time effect. There are more gods and abilities than I just mentioned, but that is the gist of things. The voice acting for all the gods is super on point. I especially enjoy how they make Hermes the Messenger even talk super fast because he is all about speed.
He's back.
Did Artemis manage to locate you already, boss? She's pretty good at that, I have to say. I'm faster, but she's fast. She's pretty fast, all right.
The voice acting isn't the only high quality bar here though. The character and art design is exceptional. The gods are all ripped to shreds and designed with tons of personality. The art style is just really awesome and super on point. I mentioned how each region is very distinct and fits a theme. The enemy designs are all fun and unique too. Some enemies have shields, some teleport, some have ranged attacks. I wouldn't go so far as to call the game a bullet hell, but movement is very important. There are traps that can damage you and enemies that can swarm you, but as you play and practice, you get a lot more proficient at taking them out quickly. It's funny, I played this game right after I finished Hollow Knight Silksong, so I was in a defensive mindset, get 1 or 2 hits in and then back off and play the counter. No, in Hades, the trick is to go all out on offense and kill them before they kill you. I cleared runs on every weapon in 15 minutes or less. This isn't some amazing achievement by any means, but it's still decently fast. But it is so satisfying how you progress in this game. The progression is ridiculously addictive. In the early game, you are very weak. Low base health, low base damage, no second or third lives, etc. But what makes this game a roguelite instead of roguelike is you have some long-term progression that you achieve by leveling up upgrades in the mirror in your bedroom. These upgrades give you numerous gameplay enhancements that help you in future runs, and as you learn what the symbols for each room correspond to, you can choose to go for currencies that help you with the long-term progression, or focus on short-term upgrades that help you get through the current run easier. Because I am very much a delayed gratification type, early on, I was trying to level up my long term. I didn't make it very far on some runs, but I knew it would help me later down the line. And eventually, I did get stronger, and then I was able to routinely clear without much issue. Well, when this happened, I unlocked the Pact of Punishment, which allows you to add difficulty modifiers to your run. The modifiers ranged from more enemies that attack faster to time limits for each region, and even to modifying the regional boss fights to be more difficult. That is probably my favorite feature. I was just blown away that you could actually modify the boss fights. It's so cool how much stuff there is to do in this game. And what is the reward for making the runs harder on yourself? Well, it allows you to unlock better upgrades like Titan Blood, which you use to level up your weapons, which in turn makes you stronger. This allows you to clear runs with even higher modifiers, which allows you to upgrade yourself even more, and it all results in a very addictive and satisfying positive feedback loop. The most important element that Supergiant gets right in this game is reward structure. Even if you get killed in the first region, you feel like you made some amount of progress. No run ever feels like a waste of time. Yes, the goal is always to slay Hades every run and reach the surface, but it is not an all or nothing endeavor. You can make incremental improvements on every single run, and not just in-game. Each run teaches you more just through repetition and practice. You get better at the game's mechanics and learn how to deal with the enemies. By the end, I was routinely getting 15-minute clears, and that was without trying to speedrun. Yes, my mirror was fully upgraded so I got better boons and had stronger weapons, but the fact remains that I had also improved at playing the game a tremendous amount. There are 6 weapons in total: a sword, a shield, a spear, a bow, a gun, and some good old-fashioned fists. And within each weapon are 4 subfamilies that change certain aspects of that weapon. So you essentially have 24 different ways to play. And then when you choose that weapon and sub-weapon, each run will reward different boons. I recently made a build with the aspect of Rama on the bow with Dionysus poison on my special, and I was shocked at how effective it was because the poison can be applied super easily and quickly with your bow. Sadly, I was working up north at the time and playing on my laptop a lot, so I wasn't capturing footage, but I made some builds that melted Hades in under a minute, just absolutely chunking the dude. You can also get keepsakes. I personally love the one that upgrades one of your boons every few encounters. It can make your build extremely powerful by the end. And the inclusion of keepsakes adds yet another element that you can change run to run. With all these combinations and permutations, it truly feels like no 2 runs are ever the same. And for me, that is what made the game so damn addicting, which surprises me a bit. I have a history in making builds for Destiny 2, so I knew every aspect of a build and could make certain things shine in certain activities. I loved being able to optimize everything. Where in Hades, you have no control over your build. You're literally at the mercy of the gods. You can't control which gods you get outside of one if you equip their keepsake, and then, even when you get that god, there's no guarantee that you get the boon that you're looking for. As you level up, you can re-roll boons and such, but for the most part, you're at the mercy of RNG. But this unpredictability is what makes the gameplay loop so addicting. You never know exactly what kind of build you will create, and sometimes you even stumble onto some ridiculously OP combos. I once accidentally had like 3 duo boons that all buffed my cast, which is just a projectile ability that you can use. Most of your damage is done with your regular special attack, but with this cast build, I absolutely chunked Hades. It was insane and completely by accident. But again, that is what makes the game so fun. Sometimes RNGesus just blesses you and you're able to craft an extremely overpowered build. As I said earlier, it's so easy to get into that one more run mentality. For me, it's a perfect concoction of addictiveness. The gameplay is fast-paced and fun, and the loot chase is intriguing every single run. You just want to see how you can make your latest build work to its max potential with the combination of god boons that you've been blessed with. Sure, by the end, I fell into running the same aspect on each weapon over and over, but I beat a full clear with every single aspect at least once. After that, I did stick to my favorite for each weapon, but I played all 6 weapons consistently. Like I said, I had at least 20 clears with every single one. It's honestly so fun learning the strengths and weaknesses of each weapon and how to maximize them to their fullest potential. I'm not going to go into the story too much here, but I did really enjoy it. Basically, you reach the surface to talk with Zagreus' mom, and eventually she comes down to the House of Hades and reunites the family. And then there's a longer questline where you wind up inviting the gods to the house. I truly exhausted every bit of dialogue in this game. I did everything it has to offer, but I was still unlocking new dialogue over 100 hours into the game. You unlock a glossary and you have to do some things a certain amount of times to fill out the entry. Well, by the end, I was waiting to just catch a certain fish, and that is just complete RNG. Sure, I don't love this, but it is what it is. The only thing I have left are some purchases from the house contractors, but those would take ages and are designed as more long-term pursuits, so those will have to wait. I have some other minor nitpicks with the game that I didn't even really realize until after I played Hades 2, but they honestly aren't even worth mentioning in this video. Rather, I will just highlight how they improved those aspects in the new game. And somehow, amongst all my glazing in this video, I still somehow forgot to praise the music in this game. It is just so good. When I tell you, I had this one song stuck in my head like every morning after I would stream Hades. I'm not sure what it was about that song in particular that always stuck in my head, but yeah, it's catchy. But this entire soundtrack is awesome and really fits the theme of the game. But the first game in the Hades series is truly an all-timer. Great voice acting and art direction, but most importantly for me, super fun build crafting and some of the most fun gameplay that I've experienced in a video game. As I've said a bunch of times now, it's just so fun and so addicting. I can't recommend this game enough if you haven't played it. And if you have, let me know down below what you like or dislike about the game. I'm curious to hear. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe to see me gush about more amazing indie games. Come check me out live on Twitch at itssizzle7 if you want to see me play games live. And if you're still watching this video, thanks so much for watching to the end. It means a lot. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.